Welcome, Shawn here for another mentor session here in Accelerators Organization. Hope that you are having a fantastic day. Let's get this thing kicked off. The first question comes from Robin, and Robin says, how many times a week do you recommend posting on Instagram if you are developing rapport for a business? The background of the question is, I'm an artist, of course. The background is, I'm an artist and I paint by hand. My company is Art by Robin. I want to help build brand awareness on Instagram and just looking for ideas on how to post, how often to post. I also have Joel Gondera answering this. Joel and I are pretty much the only mentors that use social media, so I'm gonna have him answer this for you. So this is a loaded question, and this is applicable to pretty much any business out there. As it relates to how often or how you post on social media, there's no one answer for everybody. And then there's a multitude of ideas and concepts around how to use social media. What I like to think about with social media for business is that going to attract and get me new clients? And if so, how am I going to make the process for somebody buying from me or filling out a form to get information from me easy? One of the things that we want to do in all of our marketing efforts is make sure that we make it as easy as possible for people to do business with us. The more times we have to make them click on something to actually purchase, this increases the chances that they're not going to purchase. So one-click purchase is great, and one of the great things on Instagram, especially for a retail business like an artist, is that you can create a store where someone can click on your art and it takes them right to the store to be able to purchase whatever that product is that you're selling. That's where I like to focus, is how to make a sale. Now, as it relates to just posting on social media, if you're just looking at doing some sort of brand awareness, I think one time a day or 2 times a day just to have something going on social media is plenty. If it's simply for brand awareness, in case somebody looks you up and tries to figure out if you have an Instagram account. I think that a lot of times can be a waste of time. But if you like doing it and you know how to create content for social media, I say go for it. But I really think that in the beginning stages of a business, I want to think strategically and think, where am I going to get the most bang for my buck as it relates to getting sales into my business? So I really want to chart out a path of, if I'm going to use social media, how am I going to promote it? I can boost posts. I want to put a budget together to boost posts, get my stuff in front of more people, and make it as easy as possible for people to purchase. You could ask 25 different influencer content creators this exact same question and get 25 different answers. And that's because it really depends on the business. But once a day, twice a day is plenty. I think for artists, it's more around Instagram stories and Instagram live streams where people can watch you doing your art. That's what gets the most engagement and the most interaction. Okay? Hope that helps. Okay, the next question comes from Kelly, and Kelly says, what podcasts would you recommend listening to as a service-based business? The background is Kelly and Company is an excavation company in Northern California. I'd like to know what podcasts successful entrepreneurs listen to. Lately, I've been listening to podcasts while I drive and while on my downtime instead of music. Thank you for any suggestions you have. Okay, I think I have all the mentors answering this one for you, Kelly. I don't listen to podcasts at all, so I have absolutely no suggestions on podcasts at all. So I'm going to defer that to the other mentors, and hopefully they will have some podcasts that they listen to. When I'll tell, and with that answer, I'll tell you this. When I was building my last company, and I always go back to that because I'm building AO, and I do AO in a very different way than I did in my last company. It's much more casual. In my last company, I always thought about what topic, what thing am I working on most in my business right now that is a priority, and then I am going to go as quickly as possible, buy books, maybe listen to podcasts, but buy books, read some articles online, get the information that I need as fast as possible, talk to my coach, talk to my business mentor, my business partner at the time, get the information I need as fast as possible, and then go execute. Now, if you have a lot of time free and you want to listen to podcasts, that's great. But here is my only concern, and I've posted this before, and this is scientific fact, psychological fact. Most people get information overload and don't execute enough. They get too much information from too many resources, and then they get confused, or they get analysis paralysis, and then they forget to go execute. So if you just need some entertainment, listen to Joe Rogan, listen to anybody that you want to listen to, but my advice is to not lose focus on what your priority is in your business. Get that information, get that knowledge, create that plan, and go execute. That's the most important part as it relates to growing. Now, as far as listening to podcasts, I have no idea. I cannot stand listening to podcasts. It's just not my cup of tea. All right, hope that helps. Okay, next question comes from Demarius, and Demarius says, multiple questions. What relationships and where should I network in order to grow a mold inspection business? What are some different ways that I should go about marketing and getting new business? How do I know how much money to put into advertising and marketing without overspending and going into debt to do so? I have a list of realtors that I can text. How should I approach them to let them know about my new business without trying to sell them something? What is the ratio/percentage of revenue to net profit for each business that I should be aiming for? The background is I'm a licensed home inspector that just acquired my mold inspection license and certification. I started Southwest Florida Mold Pros, an environmental inspection company, in mid-October. Okay, I've got all the mentors answering this one for you. Basically, you're looking for us to give you an entire business plan in a mentor session here, Demarius. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way, but I'm going to give you some ideas. This is a lot of information, and these are great questions for you to be able to answer and know how to grow your business. So let's see if I can get you a little bit of feedback right now to get you started. So the first question, what relationships and where should I network in order to grow a mold inspection business? Well, the first thing I would do is think about the buyer persona and buyer process for anything that I do in business. Where are my buyers and how do they buy? So if I think about somebody who's going to order and need a mold inspection, and they go, I need to get a mold inspection. Where are they going to go to hire a company to do this? And I want to make sure that I am there where they are. So that's what I would do, is I would say, where can I network and where can I put my face and my business name so that when a buyer is looking for a company like mine, they find me and they reach out to me. That's where I want to network. So I don't know the mold inspection business, but I'm thinking I've talked to you about this. The people that are going to hire you are going to be home inspectors. So I want every home inspector to know who I am. I want every builder, everybody, every real estate agent. I want every remediation company. All those types of companies where people would think to call somebody, that's where I'd want to network. And that's where I'd go. The next question is, what are some different ways I should go about marketing and getting new business? Well, this goes along with the first question, is where do the buyers make the buying decision? I want to make sure that I am right there at the time of purchase. So I want to make sure I have a good website. I wouldn't worry in a small business so much about SEO, but I might do paid Google AdWords to make sure that I can compete with the bigger companies that have been around on the internet longer, that might have higher rankings on Google. So I might want to search for different specific keywords that somebody might look at if they're going to look for a mold company in your area. But that's where I would go, is there. The next question is, how do I know how much money to put into advertising and marketing without overspending and going into debt to do so? Listen, the bottom line is there's no key formula for a small business. And big $50 million companies, they have CFOs that allocate X amount of percentage for this against net profit. It's a small business owner, you gotta throw all that shit out the door. I wanna spend $1 to make $2. I wanna spend $1 to make $3. And I only have so much money to work with. So what I might want to do in the beginning, if I don't know exactly where I'm going to get the best return on investment or return on ad spend, if you will, I might throw out a fishing line in 5 or 6 different places and see which places get me the best responses as it relates to advertising and marketing dollars. So I might put a few hundred here, a few hundred there, a few hundred there, and then start measuring when people call me. I want to implement in my sales process, where did you hear about us? And keep track of that, and every single month or every couple months, look to where most of the business is coming from, and then double and triple down in those areas as it relates to advertising and marketing spend. Usually businesses are going to just come from one place, it's going to come from multiple. So I want to try a bunch of different ones and see which ones pan out. Okay, that's what I would advise. I have a list of realtors that I can text. How should I approach them to let them know about my new business without trying to sell them something? I mean, you answered your question in your question. You reach out to them. Hey Joe, this is Demarius. I wanted to let you know that I started a new business doing mold inspections. I'm going to send you over an email with some information, my digital business card, my pricing. If you ever need me in the future, please feel free to reach out to me. I've got you on my email list to keep my company name in front of you. That's about it. I mean, it's just conversations. This is not rocket science. When it comes to networking and just letting people know what you do, people love to know that new people are starting new businesses and what it's about and things like that. So just get out there and contact as many people as possible. Okay. The next question is, what is the ratio percentage of revenue to net profit for each business that I should be aiming for? I wouldn't even worry about that in any way, shape, or form. I think a small business we don't think like that because we don't have an unlimited budget. So I would worry less about percentages of this to that and more about how much money do I have available, and get out there and just start selling. Don't worry about percentages and stuff. This is my advice. You may get a different advisor and a different mentor, but I didn't start thinking about calculations of percentage as putting together a budget, an annual budget, if you will, until we were doing well over $10 million a year in annual sales. When you're a small business, you just do it. You just kind of wing it and do a lot of it by emotion, a lot of it by feeling, and just get out there and do it. That's what I would do. So I hope that helps. All right. Next question comes from Marco, and Marco says, what system do you use or still use to manage your time and stay focused as it relates to getting things done and time management? The background is San Felino is a full travel concierge services company. We focus in Cartagena, Colombia, and provide travelers all over the world with a prime bespoke experience in a country meeting the highest standards of service. I'm tired of winging it as it relates to getting things done. I want to be more focused and strategic. Can you suggest ideas as to how I can do this based on your experience? Thanks so much. I believe I have all the mentors answering this one for you, and I'm going to show you exactly what I do. I have had this, and I told you about this, and I sent this to you, but I just want the other mentors to share what they do. This is my day timer. I am religious with this, and I just started this as a brand new year. So this is my day timer. I like the full 8.5 by 11. I don't like the little ones. I like the big ones. Okay, I keep a pencil sharpener, eraser, 2 pencils in here. I like to use pencil because I might need to erase things, so I learned over time that a pen was just too messy. Every month it starts off with what is my to-do list, and then it's got the monthly calendar where I just jot out things that I have that I know is scheduled for the month, and then it's got my daily stuff. And I use a combination of my digital Outlook calendar, and then I also use the paper one. I really like using paper, and I carry this everywhere I go so that if I ever need to do something on the fly, I can do it. I use a mix of my iPhone with Outlook and the paper. For all my planning and stuff like that, my whole month of January is already in the system, ready to go, and I know what objectives and priorities I have for the month, and that way I get done at the end of the month and I just go right down the list. Check, I did it, check, 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 check. If at the end of the month something didn't get done, I make a decision. Do I carry this over to the next month, or was it really not that important or applicable and needed to get done? I usually get everything done on my list, but if there's ever anything that carries over, it usually wasn't that important or a priority, and I might move it over to a parking lot list, which is just a parking lot of ideas that I revisit from time to time to see if anything needs to be put into a month, a quarter, or in the year. But that's what I use. And then I use that and then every single morning I also have a daily activity list. And I think about all the things like in my personal life and my business life that need to get done that day. And I do the same thing on a daily basis in that of what needs to be done today. And that's how I keep track of my time, okay? Once you get a team and you start getting a little farther ahead in your business, you can implement a system called time blocking, and you can still do time blocking, but it's a little bit more difficult to do real time blocking as a small business owner, like when it's just by yourself or maybe one or two people, because you're wearing so many hats, and you're also probably the number one customer service agent for your business and the number one salesperson for your business. So time blocking means that you don't do anything else but that activity for that period of time, which is very difficult to do as a small business owner, because you might get an incoming phone call that takes 15, 20 minutes of your time, and it's a priority. That's the highest priority, an incoming sales call. So you got to take that. So time blocking is easier when you do build your company larger and have a larger team, and you're not getting hit so often with emergency things that come up. Okay, but time blocking, if you Google time blocking, I'm sure there's all kinds of articles and books on how to do time blocking. Okay? All right, I got a bunch of mentors answering that one for you. Okay, next question comes from Kelly. How crucial is it to level up our wardrobe to match us as we level up? I am the owner of a licensed excavation company in Northern California. Last year, I really worked hard on leveling up my mindset, my inner circle, and everything I do. Currently, my wardrobe is denim jeans and grunt-style t-shirts. Mostly, I feel like I've outgrown my current wardrobe. I'm a 38-year-old male who's looking deep at who I am and who I want to become. How important is it to look the part? As we continue leveling up, I feel the need to have a business casual look, like denim with a sports coat and nice boots, versus the labor construction worker look. All right, I got all the mentors answering to this. One thing I always learned was I want to dress the part of the position I'm in. When I was an insurance agent, I wanted to wear a nice crisp shirt with a tie, dress pants, a nice belt, dress shoes, blah, 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 blah. As an entrepreneur, I dress based on the situation that I'm going to be in. If I'm going to the office, I usually want to dress business professional to business casual to business professional. I don't want to go in shorts and a t-shirt unless that's the vibe of the company. So really you have to think about what's the vibe and the culture of the industry you're in and the position that you have. Just off the top of my head, jeans and a nice polo shirt, collared polo shirt. I think that's a great look for someone who's in the construction business, especially if you've got an embroidered, just like this, an embroidered logo right here. I think that's fantastic. I think wearing suits is applicable to certain things. Just dress the part, Kelly. I just think as long as you feel comfortable and the people that you're going to be meeting with, that they feel comfortable, that you're representing your company respectfully, I think that's all you need to do. But I certainly think leveling up and getting nice swag with your stuff on it, make sure that it's crisp. I see a lot of people wearing stuff that doesn't fit them correctly. Stuff that, maybe their color that they're picking isn't like vertical stripes or horizontal stripes. So if you need some guidance on that, maybe we could talk about that in our AO Squared monthly coaching call this month, and we can get you some good swag that represents with your logo on it. I certainly, as the owner of my own construction company, just like I do with all my Most One I Will stuff, I would always have something on that has my logo embroidered into it. Always. I wouldn't leave the house without it. Okay? All right. Hope that helps. All right. The next question comes from Kelly. And Kelly says, how do we create a great company culture? Kelco Construction is an excavation company in Northern California. One of our goals in 2024 is to create an awesome culture for our employees and clients. We really want to take the best care of our Kelco family. We don't know how to create the culture. We don't know the steps and what process works to create an awesome culture. We believe that by creating an awesome culture, we really want to start to see some amazing growth. Thank you for the time to answer the question. All right, I got all the mentors answering this one for you. So one of the best places to start off is to just revisit your brand strategy. I can help you out on the AO Squared coaching call on this as well. Know your vision of your company, a clearly articulated vision statement and mission statement. Maybe have an exercise if you do have employees. You guys get together and do a half day where you chart out what your core values for the company are going to be. Always have between 5 to 7 core values that everybody believes in, and you'll use these for ongoing employee management as well as for hiring as well. Make sure that everybody's aligned from a value system perspective. Then you can start looking at doing all kinds of things as it relates to company culture. I'm a firm believer in doing employee of the month and employee of the year, and doing either little certificates or little plaques for everybody. When I was an insurance agent and I was young, I used to love when I would get, highest sales for the month or employee of the month or most improved. Just those little recognition accolades go a long way. And it costs $15-20 for the owner to put those things together, but it made me feel so appreciated and rewarded when I did a great job. So doing some things like that can be great. I know Todd, one of the mentors, every Friday they do a potluck, or once a month they do a potluck and luncheon where everybody brings stuff. There's an endless amount of things. Just put your hospitality hat on and think, what are some things that I can do to show recognition and appreciation to my team? It doesn't always have to be monetary. It can just be activity. It can be lunches. It can be take everybody out on the weekend to go bowling. Culture is just a feeling and a vibe of what people feel working in your company. As it relates to a culture with clients, think about every interaction that you have with a client and what are ways that you can do to elevate the experience, with your clients. Once again, it doesn't always have to be giftology or sending gifts and things like that, but what are things that you can do to separate yourself to make sure people know that you appreciate them as a client as well? So that's what I would do. All right. That's today's mentor session. If you have any questions, just hit the mobile application, ask your question. This will be put up on YouTube and sent out into the mobile application, which is probably where most of you are watching this right now. The more questions you ask, the more information you're going to get back to help your business. It can be both personal and business, so don't hesitate to get out there and ask a question, all right? Happy New Year, and I will see you soon, hopefully at the January event. Peace out.